that time of the programme where we're going to discuss some of the perhaps more peculiar, unusual or surprising news stories of the day that you may not have heard yourself. And Rhian joins us in the studio instead of Sean this morning, where I'm sure armed with some very interesting facts. I'll kick off, though, with a slightly surprising, perhaps, auction. This is the black and leather jacket and skin-tight trousers that Olivia Newton-John wore for the finale of Grease for that song. What's it called? You know what I mean.
Yeah, you're the one that I want.
You're the one that I want.
Yes.
That it fetched £314,000 at auction.
Wow.
That's more than double than what was expected for the bid. The actress's original script from the film was also amongst the items at the sale. This was in Beverly Hills in California, and in total it all raised $2.4 million.
Now you're both movie buffs, aren't you? So would you say that Olivia's black, would you call it a cat suit? Is that what you'd say?
Yeah, it's so iconic.
Yeah. To get sewn into them.
Really?
Yeah, apparently.
That doesn't surprise me at all. I think it doesn't leave much to the imagination, that outfit.
No, that's it. Definitely one of the most famous movie outfits of all time. And I suppose one of the others is John Travolta, his white suit from Saturday Night Fever.
Of course, yeah, similar era.
Yeah, definitely, all around the same time.
Nicely as well, that some of the proceeds to all of this, huge amounts of cash from this auction, will go towards Newton-John's Cancer Treatment Centre in Australia, because she, of course, famously suffered herself there some years ago. So all going towards a good cause as well.
A good honour. I've got chills. They're multiplying. That's it, isn't it? But it is such a famous scene, that one. It's where they're sort of in all the fairground bits and bobs.
I think everybody's been wanting it for the entire film. It's like, yes, finally, you've gone bad.
Tell me about it, stud.
Yes,
yeah. We could go on, couldn't we? But I've actually got a sort of slightly movie-themed story today. The movie's meeting football this morning because a new featured documentary from the makers of The Class of 92, all about the Man United players in the early 90s, the youngsters there, and also the producers of the Bros film After the Screaming Stops, which was sort of huge last Christmas. Well, they are releasing a new documentary very soon, in fact, detailing how Sir Matt Busby led Manchester United out of the ruins of the World War II years, through the tragedy of Munich and onto European glory. And for me, big football fan, and if you're a Man U fan, this is definitely one for you, because Sir Matt's regarded as one of the finest managers of all time. Dennis Law is featured in this, Paddy Crerand, Alex Stepney, as well as Matt Busby's successor, Wilf McGuinness, in this documentary. It tries to explain his legend and legacy. And he joined Manchester United as manager in 1945. I didn't realise, actually. Wow. He'd started so early. He was there through to the late 60s. I think it was 1970. So the best part of 25 years. And this film very much focuses on the Munich tragedy, where Sir Matt was so badly injured himself. Of course, they lost a lot of players. And actually, it was his wife who said, "You've got to carry on. For those players that were lost in the air disaster, you have to carry on." Very much did, because that team of the 60s, first English team to win the European Cup. So it should be really, really interesting.
For me, it's definitely the historical side that would pique my interest there, because I'm sure you know that I'm not a big football fan at all. But the history, that was an incredible time, wasn't it? It saw some great disaster amongst them. And of course, Munich as well. It was huge. And there's a lot of films that have surrounded that. So it'd be interesting to see that perspective.
I think Matt's legacy will just sort of go on. And a lot of people say Sir Alex Ferguson wouldn't perhaps have been the manager he was if it hadn't been for Sir Matt. I mean, Alex won more trophies, most definitely, but Sir Matt Busby very much regarded as the man who laid those foundation stones for the ethos that is.
I didn't know you were such a big football fan, Ben.
I had no idea.
So, well, I've got to say,
it's all going over my head, to be honest. I'm nodding away.
Well, I've got to say, but a bit of a connection with Man United, because my mother was born in Manchester and grew up within sort of spitting distance of the Stretford end. So apparently from their garden they could hear the roar from Old Trafford when there was a goal scored. So there's a definite affinity there, and the history of United particularly fascinating. So this will be in cinemas from the 11th of this month, on digital the 15th of November, so in less than 2 weeks in fact, and on DVD from the 18th. So if you fancy seeing this, it will be fascinating. Not long to wait. Rhian, what have you got for us?
Well, I know Crocs get quite a lot of stick for not being the most attractive footwear, but apparently they could save your life, and did. So a man says, "Rubber clogs probably saved my life after lightning struck his house in Ireland." Which is mad. And I only found out because my friends were touring around Ireland and they were in the village where the lightning struck.
Right.
So it was big news.
Why is the clog the saviour here?
It's because they're made out of rubber.
but don't house foundations already? They shouldn't conduct electricity, should they?
You'd think. It said the lightning caused a hole in the roof, blew the doors and wardrobes off the wall, broke mirrors and blew the electrical sockets.
Right.
So it's doing that.
Well,
it could,
I'm sure I wouldn't. I'm not sure I'm convinced that the croc was the saviour. That's all I'm saying.
But Terence was just chilling at home and puts it down to his clogs that he's still alive. So
in his Crocs. Well, I love this.
Yeah. But actually, going back to Greece, like combination of the two stories, I went out on Friday and there was a girl dressed up as Sandy from Greece, but she'd done lightning bolt down her one side of her face, so she was Grease Lightning. Which I thought points for originality.
Clever.
Yeah.
Okay, very good.
That's good. That's good.
That's probably the best observation of the morning. In fact. Thank you for that.